Part 20. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 191. Chapter 191. Is it a couple relationship? Who is it? 11 Jin came over and asked, wanting to know who he was in her mouth. Yang Zizi deliberately avoided it. She didn't want to mention him, let alone recall the past with him. This would only make her more painful and hate him even more. Seeing that Yang Zizi was unwilling to answer, 11 Jin didn't ask any more questions. He naturally stepped forward and put his hands on his shoulders, smiling and saying, "Wait until my canonization ceremony, and I can canonize you as the Wolf Queen." Yang Zizi glanced at him with disgust and took a few steps away, not interested. She didn't even want to be the queen of the devil, but the queen of the wolf. 11 Jin smiled casually, thinking that she was thin-skinned and shy. In the past few days, Yang Zizi did not stay in the house. 11 Jin took her to experience the life of the wolf tribe. Yang Zizi saw a group of children playing games in the distance. The innocent child attracted Yang Zizi. She once said that she wanted to have two more people in her graduation photo, one of them was Lun Zhenqi, and the other was their child. However, such a simple wish has not been realized. Now he has not only lost his prosperous life, but also cannot even have a child belonging to them. And in the graduation photo of her senior year of high school, she could only stand alone. Brother 11 Jin. As soon as the little guys saw 11 Jin, they all hugged each other. Sure enough, the world is very realistic, and now even children know how to get into the arms of good-looking people. A group of children were milling around 11 Jin, all vying to get closer to 11 Jin. "Here, brother 11 Jin will introduce you." 11 Jin knelt down very gently, without any airs of leadership, like a little brother who loves and protects his younger brothers and sisters. "This one will be your sister-in-law Zizi from now on." 11 Jin glanced at her proudly. "Hello, sister-in-law Zizi," the little kids shouted at her sister-in-law one after another. Yang Zizi panicked, his eyes blaming 11 Jin for not teaching the child bad things. "Don't get me wrong, your brother Zijin and I are just friends." "Isn't it a relationship between friends? Is it a relationship between a couple?" a slightly older boy asked. He looked at the little wolf dog who would grow up to harm the country and the people. He looked at the little expression, the little eyes and the long handsome face. You can tell by his face that he will definitely be a Neptune when he grows up. Yang Zizi was stunned by this little kid. The little kids all burst into laughter. "Hurry, hurry, come home. Your parents are calling you to go home for dinner." It's incredible, children nowadays are really incredible. "This is our home." The children pointed to a room next to them. "Who is so good at giving birth to more than 20 children at once?" "They are all orphans," 11 Jin said calmly. "Orphan?" Yang Zizi suddenly felt the same. She was also an orphan. After playing with the children for an hour, 11 Jin took Yang Zizi around the clan. "Will werewolves abandon their children?" Yang Zizi asked doubtfully. "Sometimes it's not abandonment, but an act of helplessness or separation." Yang Zizi lowered her head, not knowing why her biological parents separated from her. "But they are very happy. They are taken care of by Uncle Fu and Aunt Fu, and they have so many friends to play with. They should be no worse than being with their parents," 11 Jin said. Yang Zizi didn't speak, but a blurry picture appeared in her mind. She tried really hard to see clearly, but no matter how hard she tried, the picture was blurry. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 192. Chapter 192. 11 Ting's Darkening. The day of canonization has arrived. The canonization ceremony of the Wolf clan is very grand and wolf-like. However, just when the elders of the Wolf clan were about to loudly announce that 11 Jin had become the leader of the Wolf clan and crown him, 11 Ting suddenly ran over with his teeth and claws bared, pointed at 11 Jin and shouted, he is not 11 Jin, he is a fake, the real one Zijin was killed last night. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Ting and really wanted to run up and tear his mouth open. It was really out of nowhere. Everyone looked at 11 Jin with suspicion, and they were also dubious about 11 Ting's words. Brother, you are becoming more and more confident in yourself, but you still look down on me, my younger brother. It was the first time that Yang Zizi saw 11 Jin who was so indifferent. He had a sunny and clean face, and he really looked like a king when he was cold. What evidence do you have that our leader is fake? Someone began to doubt his words and asked him to provide evidence. Last night, I was about to go to my brother's house to congratulate him. I didn't expect to see a man in black kill my brother and disguise himself as him. He must have become a demon and wanted to be eliminated like an angel. We are wolves. The people of the tribe began to panic. We werewolves are not enough to threaten the devil, so why would the devil suddenly care about them? Shut up, Yang Zizi suddenly stood up and shouted at him. You're really good at shirking the blame, even the devil was brought out by you, now it's up to me to restore the truth. Actually, 11 Ting is the real murderer of 11 Jin. Everyone was surprised and dubious. After all, no one in the entire wolf clan knew about Ziding Long's ambition and only wanted to win the position of leader. However, they didn't know that he would kill his own brother in order to become the leader. Last night, it was 11 Ting who broke into 11 Jin's house and killed him. What evidence do you have? 11 Ting looked at Yang Zizi fiercely. Of course I have the evidence, miss. Yang Zizi took out his cell phone without haste and showed them a photo. Although it showed 11 Ting's running back, his size couldn't deceive anyone. What can a photo prove? 11 Ting was obviously panicked, but in front of his tribe, he had to show a clear conscience than anyone else and must not lose his position. And this knife, Yang Zizi took out 11 Ting's knife and stabbed it into 11 Jin's heart. Because 11 Ting was scared and panicked at the time, he forgot to take away his knife, leaving evidence behind. The people of the Upsilon tribe accused 11 Ting of being crazy and unworthy of being in the same tribe as them. So what if it's me? 11 Ting finally couldn't bear it any longer. Ever since he was a child, 11 Jin had been better than him in every way. He was more popular among the tribe and more capable than him. He had long been jealous. But it's just that he has been holding back in order to maintain his position as leader and maintain his external image. You are nosy, I will kill you today. 11 Ting suddenly launched an attack on Yang Zizi. Yang Zizi had nowhere to run, waiting for a knife to fall on his head. There was no pain for a long time. When she raised her head, she saw 11 Jin fighting with him. After a while, she took him away and handed him over to the soldiers. Are you okay? 11 Jin immediately ran over to ask about Yang Zizi's injury. Don't worry, I'm fine. In front of so many people, she naturally had to protect her face and waved her hand openly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 193. Chapter 193, Leaving the Wolf Clan. This is the first time I have seen a leader care so much about a girl. An old man showed a fatherly smile. I can see that our leader is most likely in love with that little girl. The ant on the side smiled and accepted the old man's words. It's so rare. The old man stroked the white beard under his chin. The canonization ceremony continues. After it was over, 11 Jin wanted to give 11 Ting another chance. After all, he was his biological brother, but when he thought that he had almost killed Yang Zizi just now, he ruthlessly expelled him from the Wolf Clan and would never return. Wolf Clan. Actually, you have done your best to him, and he has tried to harm you again and again. Yang Zizi comforted 11 Jin. 11 Jin didn't want to continue talking about this matter, so he changed the subject. Zizi, How about you stay? Although she was a human, he could see that the tribesmen liked this human girl very much. If they knew that she was a human, if so, he would definitely accept her readily. Yang Zizi shook his head and refused. No, I am a human, and the human world is my home. There is no way I can stay in the wolf tribe. 11 Jin still wanted to persuade him to stay, but Yang Zizi suddenly interrupted him loudly. When will you send me back? I still have to take the college entrance examination. If I fail, you will be responsible. Okay, I'll be responsible for this forever. 11 Jin suddenly came very close to him. Yang Zizi was stunned for a few seconds and quickly escaped. Send me back quickly, otherwise I will go back by myself. 11 Jin could tell that Yang Zizi was determined to return to the human world. Also, she is a human and cannot stay in the wolf clan forever, just like he is a werewolf and cannot stay in the human world forever. Early on the next morning, 11 Jin took Yang Zizi to the mountain behind the school in Lingao. I'm leaving first. Yang Zizi showed no reluctance at all and walked away without hesitation. Remember to miss me? 11 Jin asked her loudly, and the heartless girl left without even looking back. I don't want to, it's too much trouble. Yang Zizi continued to walk forward, not giving the leader of the wolf tribe any face. 11 Jin smiled fondly and determined that the human girl in front of him was his destiny. It has been a month since I returned to the human world. My mobile phone finally has an internet connection, and a lot of news and notifications keep ringing for half an hour. Yang Zizi took a look and saw that they were all Gu Yaoei and Yang Ruimin, as well as Gu Zhaozhao and Gu Zixi. There were no less than 10 calls a day, and even the police station called her. Dozens of news items were all about the disappearance of the real daughter of the Gu family. The rumor-mongers directly wrote him to death, and other media went even further and directly turned him into a suspense novel. Space. It has been almost a month since I came out, and the Gu family must be worried to death. After finally finding their biological daughter, they disappeared again for no reason. Yang Zizi ran home in a hurry. The atmosphere in the Gu family was really heavy, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Young lady, the young lady is back. When the maid saw Yang Zizi entering the room, she opened her mouth in excitement and shouted anxiously. Yang Ruimin suddenly woke up, and there was light in her eyes. Mom! Yang Zizi called Yang Ruimin softly. Zizi! Yang Ruimin ran over and hugged her tightly, crying and howling, where have you been? Do you know that your mother is already dying? End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 194. Chapter 194. So, good neighbors. Yang Zizi patted his back and comforted him. Gu Yaoei and his two brothers knew that Yang Zizi was back and immediately rushed home from the police station. In the past month, they have never given up looking for Yang Zizi, just like they have never stopped looking for their biological daughter for more than 10 years. The family surrounded Yang Zizi and did not dare to leave for a moment, for fear that it was just a dream and they would never come back after disappearing. After school every day, Yang Zizi would go to the back of the school in Lingao for several days. She hoped that Gui Kale could come out. Even if he killed her, she would find Lun Zhenxi and ask clearly. She wanted him to tell her personally, during the time she was with him, was it just a joke or did he really love her? However, it was calm every time, and there was no sign of anyone at all. How can she find him? Suddenly one day, Yang Zizi was still waiting for Gui Kale in the back hill of Lingao school. Instead of waiting, he came to 11 Jin. 11 Jin, Yang Zizi was surprised. How could this kid be so fast? It seems that you are going crazy thinking about me, and you are actually waiting for me here. It seems that it should be more than a day or two. Yang Zizi was speechless. This was all misunderstood. You misunderstood, I was waiting for someone else. Who is it? 11 Jin suddenly thought of the vampire who wanted to kill Yang Zizi that day. That vampire, 11 Jin has always been curious. How could a good human get into trouble with a vampire? Even if he was attracted by her blood, why would she induce her to jump off the cliff instead of simply biting her neck, sucking her blood dry? Yang Zizi glanced at him, turned around and left. She was driving on the highway when suddenly 11 Jin jumped in the window from the outside, and Yang Zizi was really shocked. I don't know why lately, but when driving, Yang Zizi always likes to open all the windows and feel the wind blowing in from outside. You are so high profile, I'm afraid others won't know that you have become the leader of the wolf clan, Yang Zizi said helplessly. Who asked you to run so fast? 11 Jin complained. Where are you going? Yang Zizi asked. I will go wherever you go. I go home. I'm going home too, and my home in the human world is near your home, so hello neighbors. 11 Jin smiled and extended a friendly hand to Yang Zizi. Yang Zizi glanced at him lightly, not giving him any face. 11 Jin forcibly took Yang Zizi's hand and shook it. Yang Zizi was anxious. You don't want your life. Don't worry, I'm here and I will protect you. Yang Zizi just pretended not to hear. When he was about to get home, Yang Zizi passed by his neighbor's villa. 11 Jin suddenly pointed to the unsold villa and showed off to Yang Zizi and said, Look, that's my home. Welcome to visit. As he said that, he walked in the car. He jumped out while driving at a fast speed and waved to her warmly, as well as the gesture of welcoming her as a guest. Yang Zizi ignored her and drove the car to the villa next to 11 Jin's house and stopped. Hey, this guy actually lives next door to her house. It seems that he will not be able to rest in the future. Sure enough, 11 Jin would come to his house to play every now and then. Yang Zizi was afraid that 11 Jin would reveal his identity instinctively and scare the Gu family, so he told him to act like an ordinary person. But just in case, Yang Zizi tried not to let him come to her home. If he had something to do, he could just call her to his home. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 195. Chapter 195 Entanglement. In class, Yang Zizi glanced at 11 Jin sitting next to her with disgust. Unexpectedly, they were not only in the same school, but also in the same class. What was even more speechless was that 11 Jin sat directly next to her. If her brothers were here, he had been beaten out long ago. Suddenly, 11 Jin cut off the poplar seeds from the pen he had bitten. Yang Zizi looked at him. How do you solve this question? 11 Jin touched her arm and asked. Yang Zizi glanced at the topic he asked her for advice. The teacher has talked about this topic countless times, but this kid has never listened to it once. Speaking of which, isn't he a werewolf? His brain should be more developed and smarter than that of humans. After all, he has lived for hundreds of years, so he should be more knowledgeable than her. Even so, Yang Zizi patiently explained this question to him. Good guy, from now on, every time he had a problem, he would rub against her and cling to her like a little wolf dog. Even if it was a question that even a poor student found to be simple, he had the nerve to ask him. Although he ranked last in every exam. Looking at his results, Yang Zizi was also worried, but he himself was super confident and talked with him about which university he wanted to attend. Yang Zizi directly told him that he wanted to go to art school, and 11 Jin bluntly said that he wanted to go to the same university as him. Do you know the cut-off score of the university I want to get into? Your current score is far behind. Yang Zizi struck his heart mercilessly. Isn't it just an art school? For me, it's as simple as crushing an ant to death. Yang Zizi frowned. If you dare to cheat, I will look down on you. I am the leader of the wolf clan. How can I do such a thing as cheating? It's so unethical. It's good to know. After studying in the evening, they went home together. 11 Jin drove and Yang Zizi sat in the passenger seat. The senior year of high school is an extremely critical year, and both the Gu family and Yang Zizi pay special attention to it. Although Yang Zizi is very perceptive and can solve any difficult problem as soon as he hears it, he is still afraid that his grades will decline and he will not be able to get into the school he wants to go to. The reason why she went to art college was for no other reason than that she hoped to stand in front of the big screen one day and shout Lun Chenchi's name loudly, letting people all over the world know that she was looking for him. Every time Yang Zizi had no time to eat, 11 Jin would always appear in front of her with her favorite meal and watch her eat. When she couldn't bear to rest, 11 Jin could always find a way to pull Yang Zizi out and take her to feel the speed of the wind. They sat on the top of the mountain for several hours. Sitting on the top of the mountain, Yang Zizi would always inadvertently think of the prosperous times of Lun, their past, what he said to her, and their sweet married life. 11 Jin sat quietly and accompanied her silently. Although he didn't know what she had gone through, and there was no hope in her eyes, he would always be by her side. Won't leave her. But he believed that when Yang Zizi was willing to tell him, he would be a good listener. Yang Zizi suddenly stood up, with a fragile and hoarse voice, "Go back." 11 Jin hesitated to speak. Although he was curious, he did not dare to ask. He was afraid that if he asked, this girl would knock him off the top of the mountain. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 196. Chapter 196 Silently. What are you doing standing still? Transform quickly. Yang Zizi patted 11 Jin, who was stunned in place, and said. Oh, 11 Jin said obediently, immediately transformed into a werewolf and carried Yang Zizi down the mountain. They returned to class and were about to take the books and leave when they suddenly saw several fat men kicking over Yang Zizi's desk, tearing her books to pieces, and even threatened to find Yang Zizi and kill her. She avenged the Chable's son. It turned out that the son of the Chable was sent to the hospital by her and was looking for trouble. 11 Jinkai just wants to go in and teach these arrogant humans a lesson. Yang Zizi stopped him in time. If he was so impulsive, his identity would definitely be exposed, and he thought that he alone could deal with these little minions. Don't worry, I'm in the human world now, so I have to follow the local customs today. I'll let them power as a human being. Space not yet. Before Yang Zizi could say anything, 11 Jin had already rushed in. He knocked several big men to the ground with 3 punches and 2 kicks, without delaying at all, and he was quick and accurate. The big men knelt down one after another to recognize 11 Jin as their boss. Yang Zizi sighed and let them go. After all, they were ordered by the Chable. It's just a penny to do a job. Zijin looked at the big men running away and asked in confusion, how easy it is for them. Forget it, they also want to make money. The memory of the original owner came to her mind. In order to support the family, the original owner had to work several jobs a day during the holidays. Every time, she thought she was young or did things carelessly and was reprimanded or even fired. He didn't know why he felt the same way when he thought of the original owner's experience. Although he couldn't remember what kind of person he was originally, he could vaguely see a very pitiful little girl holding the door alone and looking at her with a dusty face. She stood outside the door, hoping to have a beautiful family that belonged to her. I don't know if she expected it or not. What are you thinking about? 11 Jin waved his hand in front of her eyes. It's nothing, Yang Zizi reacted and denied. Seeing her daughter working so hard for the college entrance examination, she was under a lot of pressure. In order to relieve her stress, Yang Ruimin hoped to bring her daughter to the public at the company's 50th anniversary celebration. Yang Zizi didn't want to go, but when she thought about going to art school in the future, it wasn't impossible to show her face in front of reporters. In this society, popularity is temporary. She once became popular because of the popularity of Lun Chenchi and her brother, but soon everyone forgot about her, and even forgot that such a person existed. By the way, I would like to introduce you to a young and promising boy. This boy is studying for a doctorate at Kingda University. He is only 22 years old now. He also serves as the president of the Chu group. His appearance is even more confusing. His name is it's called Chu Yungzi. The adjective used by Yang Ruimin is a bit exaggerated. Since childhood, the only person she has ever seen who is the most beautiful and the most immersive and romantic is Lun Chenchi, without exception. The second one is Mu Chenai. Although he is a bit bad, his skin is not just talk. Then there is 11 Jin, who looks like a cute little wolf dog. The sun shines like the warm winter sun with a smile. His mother and I are best friends, and I often mention you. The kid from Yungzi is also looking forward to meeting you. It just so happens that you can meet him at the Gu Group's 50th anniversary celebration. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 197. Chapter 197 50th Anniversary Celebration. Yang Ruimin was smiling from ear to ear as she went on a blind date with Yang Zizi. The main reason was that she wanted Yang Zizi to forget about her previous relationship quickly, stop worrying about the previous relationship, and come out of it as soon as possible. Mom, don't you understand my heart? It's impossible for me to accept anyone except the prosperous ones. But he has left. Are you going to? Looking at Yang Zizi's expression, he did not dare to say any more. She knew that she had brought up the most fragile thread in Yang Zizi's heart. I will go to the celebration, but forget about meeting your best friend's son. Yang Zizi left these words and went upstairs to lock himself in the room. She couldn't control herself from thinking about him, couldn't control herself from hating him for leaving without saying goodbye, couldn't control herself from crying like crazy. She thought that as time passed, she could forget him and their past, but this was of no use to him. At this moment, he really wished that he could be a heartless person. Even if she was a scumbag who was reviled by the world, she would not be willing to bear the pain of such infatuation. He was gone, and she had to bear the rest alone. Every time she thinks of him, Yang Zizi will think of what Gui Kale said to her on the edge of the cliff, echoing in her mind over and over again. If possible, she really hoped that she could get into a car accident and lose her memory like the plot in the novel, and completely remove this person from her mind. That night, she couldn't sleep at all. I don't know if it was because of a telepathic connection or something, but 11 Jin actually jumped in from the window and chatted with her. How do you know I can't sleep? Yang Zizi huddled at the head of the bed, holding herself in her hands, feeling very insecure. She was afraid that the leader of the wolf clan would appear in front of her, but she still didn't feel any sense of security. 11 Jin rubbed the back of his head, hesitated, and finally changed the topic. What's wrong with you? Did those humans scare you today and prevent you from sleeping? Yang Zizi laughed as she thought it was ridiculous. Only a few people could scare her like this. In this world, there is only one person who can make her shrink into a ball in fear. That is the prosperous age. She once thought she was the person who understood him best in the world, but now it seems that she is the person who understands him least in the world. His thoughts are simply too difficult to guess. Since you're not happy, let me chat with you. 11 Jin sat on the edge of the bed and accompanied her silently. While chatting, Yang Zizi suddenly fell asleep again. Looking at her sleeping appearance, he suddenly became softer. He transformed into a wolf and let her sleep peacefully through the night, relying on his warm self. The next day, Yang Zizi woke up and found that he was lying on the body of a big wolf. Yang Zizi patted him and told him to get up. 11 Jin suddenly made a slight cry. What's wrong with you? Yang Zizi asked worriedly, thinking he was injured. 11 Jin hummed, but Yang Zizi had no idea what the kid was talking about. Speak English. 11 Jin immediately became frightened, turned back to his human form, covered his arm and said, "My hand is numb." Yang Zizi then remembered that she slept on 11 Jin's body all night, no wonder she was so peaceful and warm. She squatted down, took his hand and shook it a few times. Ahuhu, the boy's expression looked like he was crying, laughing, or enjoying himself. Zizi, Yang Ruiman knocked on the door. Yang Zizi immediately blocked his mouth to prevent him from making any sound. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 198. Chapter 198. My mother's best friend's son. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Jin, who jumped out of the window, and then he opened the door with confidence. Yang Ruiman curiously looked inside. "Mom, what are you looking at?" "I clearly heard a boy's cry just now." Yang Ruiman looked confused. "I was watching a TV show just now, and it was a voice from a TV show," Yang Zizi said with a smile. Yang Ruiman was stunned. She started to follow the drama, which meant that the situation had improved. Okay, it's good to catch up on the drama, it's good to catch up on it more." Yang Ruiman patted her shoulder and said reassuringly. Yang Zizi smiled at her. "Hurry up and get ready, we are about to leave." Yang Zizi agreed but didn't dress up too much, just as usual. As always, the 50th anniversary celebration was held on the first floor of Gu Group's company. Because of their good relationship with the Gu family, the people from the Chu family came extra early. Yang Zizi sat on the sofa and started the celebration alone, holding a wine glass and drinking. Yang Ruiman looked at Yang Zizi with love and hate. "I praise my daughter every day in front of the rich wife, will my secret be exposed now? Min, Zizi, I can't wait to meet my daughter-in-law." Yang Ruiman's best friend excitedly pulled her to ask for someone. Yang Ruiman laughed dryly, pulled them to sit aside, and motioned with her eyes to Gu Zhaozhao and Gu Zixi to bring their sister over. "You guys sit down for a while, our Zizi will be here soon." Gu Zhaozhao and Gu Zixi understood each other and walked to sit next to Yang Zizi. "Sister, look at that Chu Yongzi. One look at his face and you will definitely think that he is a gentle and honest person. However, you have to know that when he was young, he was the best at bullying others." Gu Zixi said he complained about all the grudges he had when he was a child. Ever since he was a child, he didn't want Chu Yongzi to become his brother-in-law. "I think so," Yang Zizi thought so without even looking at him. "We three brothers and sisters really have the same mind," Gu Zhaozhao said excitedly. "But Mom wants to introduce me to him, and he will be your brother-in-law from now on," Yang Zizi said pretendingly. Unexpectedly, his brothers didn't like Chu Yongzi either, so that would make things much easier. Yang Ruiman cast a sharp look at her brothers, while calming her best friend's anxiety. Chu Yongzi was sitting next to his mother. He was a gentle and elegant boy, and he was a sensible boy. Yang Zizi followed his brothers to complain about Chu Yongzi, becoming more and more enthusiastic as he talked, just like a group of uncles and aunties sitting at the entrance of the village chatting. Soon, Chu Yongzi noticed the eye-catching poplar seeds. He had seen photos of her on the internet, but he had never seen her in person. Unexpectedly, from a distance, she turned out to be more beautiful than he imagined, and even more beautiful than in the photos. This made him feel a little sad. Throbbing. Chu Yongzi politely said sorry to Yang Ruiman. Stepping towards Yang Zizi with a pair of slender long legs, he stretched out a hand like a gentleman. "Hello, I am Chu Yongzi." In order to get him to retreat in spite of the difficulties, Yang Zizi was careless and did not give the other party any face, and did not even give him a straight look. "Ho, you kid robbed our toy car when you were a kid, and now you're robbing our sister from us." Gu Zixi was so angry that she dug out all the old accounts. Chu Yongzi suddenly laughed lightly and said, "I didn't expect that the two brothers are still thinking about things when they were young. Otherwise, I will go to the toy store when I go on a date with Zizi and buy it back for you." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 199. Chapter 199. No, I can't learn. Gu Zhaozhao and Gu Zixi were speechless for a moment. Now it seems that they are just stingy children. Yang Zizi said nothing and drank alone. Let me have a drink with Miss Gu. Chu Yongzi picked up the wine glass naturally and gracefully, poured himself a glass of wine, touched Yang Zizi's wine glass, and drank it in one gulp. Yang Zizi looked confused, but in the end he drank his own drink regardless and didn't talk to the other person too much. Yang Ruimin saw Yang Zizi and Chu Yongzi getting along well with each other, and the parents of both sides nodded with satisfaction. It seems that the in-laws' work is almost done. But when Yang Ruimin saw that there were two ignorant light bulbs next to her, she made a serious face and called them seriously to tell them to leave quickly and not to make any light bulbs. Even if they were to be Neptunes, they should not be light bulbs. Gu Zhaozhao and Gu Zixi had no choice but to leave. I haven't formally introduced myself yet. Hello, my name is Chu Yongzi. I'm the son of your mother's best friend. If you hadn't gotten lost back then, we might have been childhood sweethearts and grew up together, Chu Yongzi said to her again without hesitation. Yang Zizi extended a friendly hand. Yang Zizi gave the other person a dry smile, shook his hand politely, and shook it. This boy has a good imagination, and he is still a childhood sweetheart. When the celebration begins, I wonder if Miss Gu would be willing to dance with me. Chu Yongzi warmly invited me. No, Yang Zizi said simply. It doesn't matter, I can teach you. Chu Yongzi still smiled. Can't learn. The smile on Chu Yongzi's face became a little awkward. Of course he knew in his heart that Miss Gu was not willing to dance with him at all, or even communicate with him. Same, who wants to talk to a stranger so much? If he hadn't been lost at the time, then they must have been passionately in love. Space Chu. Yongzi sighed deeply, hating that God's will had tricked people into accepting him. Looking at Yang Zizi, who didn't want to speak, he just poured cup after cup into his stomach. This girl made him unable to guess what she was thinking, but according to Aunt Yang Ruimin, Yang Zizi fell out of love half a year ago. But it's been half a year, and he hasn't come out of it yet. The Yang Zizi described by Aunt Yang Ruimin is a heartless, open-minded, and free-spirited person. How could he be so miserable because of a love affair? Chu Yongzi felt the strong aura of Yang Zizi, which made him swallow all the questions he wanted to ask. He could only drink with her silently. Fortunately, every time she drank a drink, she would ask him, glasses clinking. 3 bottles of high-altitude wine were finished by Yang Zizi, while Chu Yongzi only drank half the bottle and was already delirious. He seemed to be going crazy with alcohol, but Yang Zizi was in front of him and he worked hard to restrain himself. Yang Zizi looked at the drunk Chu Yongzi and curled his lips. That's it? Chu Yongzi's parents quickly ran over and asked someone to help their son to rest. I originally wanted to take a sip of CP, but I didn't expect that after every sip, my son would get drunk first. I'm not telling you that your best friend's son has a really bad drinking ability. Yang Zizi himself was embarrassed to complain. Yang Ruimin is not worried about her best friend's son, but her daughter drank 3 bottles of high-alcohol wine, but her face doesn't turn red and her heart doesn't beat. She looked at Yang Zizi with a worried look on her face, but hesitated to ask what she wanted to say. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 200. Chapter 200. Pretending. Don't worry, it's impossible for me to get drunk. This has been the case since I was a child. No matter how much I drank, I never got drunk. Maybe it's because my physique is different from other people's. The celebration has begun, and Chu Yongzi managed to hold on even before he was fully awake from the wine. Zizi, are you okay? Chu Yongzi walked to Yang Zizi, worried that she would be as drunk as him and unconscious. It's okay, I'm not as bad at drinking like you. Yang Zizi gave him a look of disgust. Chu Yongzi suddenly smiled and said sheepishly, I will definitely practice my drinking ability when I go back. Yang Zizi didn't care about his words, and looked at the Gu couple on the stage who were smiling from ear to ear, talking a lot with the microphone. Yang Zizi is extremely bored. If he had known it, he would not have come to this celebration. It is not interesting at all. Suddenly, Yang Ruimin and her brothers gestured for Yang Zizi to come to them. Yang Zizi stepped on the stage to adapt to the lighting in advance, and there were countless scenes of daily life that were extremely embarrassing. Although he was not particularly happy, Yang Zizi still showed a professional fake smile. Practice more and your fake smile will become natural in the future. Just as she was smirking at the camera, Gu Yaoi suddenly announced her marriage to Chu Yongzi to the media. No. Why suddenly? This is the first time we meet. Wait a minute, Yang Zizi interrupted Gu Yaoi's speech anxiously. Actually, I already have a boyfriend, Yang Zizi announced loudly. Compared with Chu Yongzi, 11 Jin is more pleasing to the eye, and his cute and interesting soul is more likable, while Chu Yongzi is just a nerd, anyway. Anyone you are with is a fake, it is better to find a faker who is more satisfied. The Gu couple looked surprised. Why didn't you say anything? Zizi, Yang Ruimin looked at Yang Zizi nervously. This kind of thing cannot be joked in front of the mass media. Miss Gu, who is honored to be in Miss Gu's eyes, a reporter asked. This issue made her angry. If she had known about it, she would have brought 11 Jin here with her. Suddenly, a young man with his own light seemed to walk in at the door. He walked in with slender legs, and the smile on his face was as heartwarming as the warm spring breeze. She wiped her eyes in disbelief. This is not 11 Jin. As expected, there was a connection between the two. As soon as Yang Zizi thought of him, he would miraculously appear in front of her. This guy can't be a mind reader. But isn't this the ability of vampires? It's him, Yang Zizi pointed at 11 Jin without hesitation. All photographic equipment was turned to the west. 11 Jin was startled by this sudden device, and all the flashlights flashed rapidly on his face. His name is 11 Jin, my boyfriend. Yang Zizi walked up to him, like a bodyguard protecting a superstar, blocking the light from his face. But as soon as 11 Jin heard that Yang Zizi actually said that he was her boyfriend in public, she was no longer afraid of the countless flashing lights in front of her. He raised his head and looked at Yang Zizi in disbelief. Yang Zizi also saw the boy's doubts. Don't worry, this is just a lie. It won't take long for me to clear your name. Hearing the word fake in Yang Zizi's mouth, 11 Jin's eyes dimmed instantly. He wanted to tell him that he didn't want her to restore his innocence, and he was even willing to destroy his innocence. End of this chapter.